Hello there, viewers. Welcome to my views and news. Can you hear me? Thank you for responding with yes. A warm welcome to all of you. Let me welcome the participants. Then we'll have a look at the summary of new stories, which I'll speak on. I'll share with you in this live chat. Klaus knew the first one who has commented. Always the first one. A says hello. Mulki Zorio says hi. Sajid Mulki is a new participant. I think he's from Somali region, Somaliland, or Somalia, but I am seeing him almost on daily basis in live chats now. Mahmoud Ahmadeen says salam. Burji Suyama says hi. Sajid. Two great ladies from Tigray, Liz Ilyas and Tegesti. Warm welcome to both of you. Amante Desu says, Sajid, I've been waiting for you. Thank you, Amante. Adam Ahmed Ibrahim, another regular participant. On Analyst says, Hi, Sir Sajid Bhai. How are you, brother? Muhyiddin says, Hello, Sajid. Alam Gizao says, Hello, Sajid. Welcome, Alam, member was joined. Warm welcome to you, Alam. Nahom Architect says, Good evening, Sajid. Ilyas Likisa says, Hi. Mulki Zorio is a female. People are correcting. Uh, my apologies. Difficult for me to differentiate between male and female names. Mihari has joined too, one of my long-time friends. Welcome back, Mihari, after some time. Ambaccio says welcome. Bashe joined too. PE says hello. Yemesgan there too. Brother, stays in touch with me. Ixyabar Yemesgan. Samuel Faleke here too. Welcome, Samuel. Muhammad Usman says good evening. G-Man says hello. Antatios Tafira says hello. Dr. Abdi Jalil Hassan. Warm welcome to you, Abdi Jalil Hassan. He's a member too. And Yemaskar is a member as well. Abdi Jalil stays in touch with me. Sometimes if I need clarity about some issues, I talk to him. Though obviously he has his liking, his support for some parties, but he's very unbiased and objective in his views when he talks to me. Thank you, Abdi Jalil Hassan. Tekim Tafira made it to the live chat too. Welcome, Tekim. Tekim is almost here on daily basis. Warm welcome to Tekim. Dawn E joined too. What happened to Mooney? Dawn E says, we are all prayers for Mooney. Mooney is at an institution. We are all prayers for his recovery. Anthony Habtamo says, hello, Sajid, good evening. Yen Bachun Mayan says, good evening, Sir Sajid. I have been following your analysis since Tigray war. Yin Bachun. Yes, I think I remember this username. Sam Muhammad, hi Sajid. It looks like the army already got the green light from the US to strike a deal with Somaliland. Okay, I'll respond to it. Backfoot. A says Somalia should give Ethiopia sea access to stop the war. CSMP says hello. Bacha Garbi joined too. Bacha, welcome. Amiha Kasai says hello, Sajid. Good evening. Thanks for daily truth news in detail, which gave me full information. Thank you for appreciating Amiha Kasai. Donnie says, I'm so sorry to hear that. I hope he will be okay. Please keep us updated. Yes, he's talking about Mooney. Mooney will be back after some time. So we're all prayers for him. Speed says, hi, Sajid. Klaus, you should take a break for a day. No, I wait for Klaus. He's always the first one. Mihari says, "Saj, why don't you have Instagram? Because young people are on it a lot. I need to have an Instagram account too, maybe TikTok as well. But how to manage all this? I have no one to manage my social media account, so it's difficult. I am not in a position to hire anyone. I cannot pay anything to anyone. I don't earn a lot. So that is why it's difficult for me to be on all social media platforms. Now, a roundup of the main news stories which we'll talk about. Firstly, it seems that a top Ethiopian delegation is in Somaliland. I did a video. A few hours ago, I said that Ethiopian PM could visit Somaliland or a high level delegation. It seems the delegation has arrived in Somaliland. Secondly, while Ethiopia is doubling down on its commitment to implement the MOU with Somaliland, Somalia is looking towards Turkey. And today there was a meeting between top Somalia's general at uh, Turkish military base in Mogadishu. Thirdly, an interesting hypocritical position taken by Ethiopia about China Taiwan issue. And lastly, Sudan, where Sudan military is boycotting IGAD summit while rapid support forces have shot down a drone of Sudanese military. An Iranian drone being used by Sudanese military has been shot down, reported. Shafo well joined. To Shafo, welcome. Several members today are part of this live chat. Shafo, LM, Exaber, Dr. Abdul and others. Habibi says, Sajid, don't you think the situation is overblown? A few insults will be thrown back and forth, and 1 year down the line, both these countries, Ethiopia and Somalia, will be distracted with internal issues. Interesting comment. Okay, I'll respond to it. This for Hope says, Sajid is a propagandist. Who am I spreading the propaganda for, by the way? Because in the past, I have been a propagandist for TPL, a propagandist for FANU, propagandist for Ola, propagandist for America, propagandist for Western countries, propagandist for CIA. So who am I working for now, by the way? JX Ferengi joined to another member. He says Sardit is a propagandist, not a Sardit is a journalist, not a propagandist for any special interest. Thank you. Taya WG says, Hi, Sajid. Ridwan said we appeared in the east while the world has been expecting us in the north. What is the implication, as Abi has been telling us about Red Sea for long? Firstly, let me respond to the comment which I read a few minutes ago. Let me. Yeah, Sam Muhammad asked about the US green light for Abi to sign MOU with Somaliland. I believe that US was on board. I believe. I don't have any uh, information in terms of convincing evidence. But if you connect some dots, it seems that US was informed by Ethiopian government. In one or the other form, US was informed. I think maybe US wants to set foot in Somaliland as well. But US is not in a position because of likely reaction from Somalia, from Somalia's partners. So US has been reluctant. Though official US policy is that it supports one Somalia policy. At the same time, US has been improving ties with Somaliland. US could be on board because so far US has not issued a very strong statement condemning the MOU between Ethiopia and Somaliland. So I agree to some extent, Sam Mohammed, that US might have green lighted the decision of MOU between Ethiopia and Somaliland. Secondly, where Habibi said that nothing will happen, both will be both countries, Ethiopia and Somalia, will forget what they are saying today, and tomorrow they'll be busy handling their internal issues. I don't think so, by the way. I think that temperature is rising. It's not just empty bravado, what we're saying, especially from Somalia side. I think Somalia could react. This reaction could be in different form. I did a video on that 2 days ago. What can Somalia do? I think Somalia is in a position to hurt Ethiopia, vice versa as well. I believe the situation needs intervention. Somalia's response should not be underestimated. People should not say that Somalia is a fractured country, it's fighting Al Shabaab. So come on, it cannot do anything. People are connected on both sides of the border, Somalia, Ethiopia border. There are ethnic connections, there are tribal connections, religious connections too. Then neighboring countries involved too. The region could turn into a bigger mess. So instead of saying that this dust will settle, nothing will happen, I think we should call for calm, call for negotiation, dialogue, and that is the way forward. Even if Somalia is weak, it does not mean that it should be taken for granted. I think it should be engaged, and maybe Somalia should show flexibility. I've been saying, by the way, that neighboring countries should show flexibility. They should talk to Ethiopia just like a business deal is negotiated. Nothing wrong with that. Talk to Ethiopia, tell Ethiopia what your red lines are, and make your red lines public. That is the way forward. You cannot deny Ethiopia access to the Red Sea. Ethiopia has every right to gain access to the Red Sea through dialogue, not through military means. But the problem is that if all regional countries decide to push Ethiopia against the wall, Ethiopia then will react. And that is what is happening, I think. Eritrean post joined to Vediafla, welcome. Yaz Isa, Koala, please don't write one comment again and again. Please don't flood the comment section, please. Koala says Eritrea is smart to reject and push inferior Ethiopia deal with Somaliland and get Ethiopia in trouble with Somalia, Egypt, and Turkey. Well, I wouldn't say smart, Koala. Come on. Eritrea should have been the beneficiary of Ethiopian desire to gain access to a port. It should have negotiated with Ethiopia. This deal could have been beneficial for both countries. Eritrea is in need of money. Its people in need of money, in need of jobs. So I think that Eritrea lost a business opportunity. Maybe in future, Eritrea will realize, and some other countries, if Ethiopia manages to seal the deal with Somaliland. And these countries should come out of the past. What happened decades ago, they should come out of it and they should restart, renew the relations. That is the way forward. The mutually beneficial relations are in the interest of all the parties. Money Talk says, Shabia trying to stay relevant. Eritrea is always relevant, by the way. When it comes to conflicts, Eritrea very relevant. Eritrea relevant in Sudan, Eritrea relevant in Somalia, it's relevant in Ethiopia. So how much more relevancy do you want from Eritrea? Empty says Eritrea needs to withdraw from Tigray territories. Empty, empty. It's not that simple. Tigray says its territories are under the occupation of Eritrean military. Eritrea says that the territories under its military control are part of Eritrea, and territories were granted to Eritrea by International Boundary Commission. So Eritrea won't withdraw. For withdrawal, there should be talks, there should be uh, negotiations. The border needs to be demarcated. That is the way forward. It's not simple. Muhammad Hussein joined too says, Viva Somaliland Republic. Isse Habt says, are you thinking about the criminal leaders' benefit for the people of Africa? Mulki says, Sajid, I agree with you. If Ethiopia would seek this through peaceful and respectful means, no, not through illegal means. Yes, I agree. Ethiopia shouldn't have been beating the drums of war. It should have been diplomatic. It should have been very calculated in its attempt to gain access to the sea. Maybe I think Ethiopia tried several options with Eritrea. Eritrea frustrated Ethiopia. That is why PM Abiy spoke. Djibouti, I think, was not interested in giving full rights on a port to Ethiopia. Somalia maybe is not an attractive destination, or keeping in view Somalia Eritrea relations these days, perhaps Somalia was not showing flexibility too. Maybe the last option for Ethiopia was Somaliland. Halim says if Tigray stops claim on West, any chance Fano can help kick out EDF? There is no EDF in Western Tigray, I think. No EDF there. ENDF is there, no EDF. Yemaskan is asking a question from all Amharas. He says, my question is to all Amhara people, will you support Somalia? No, they won't, by the way. Suppose Somalia attacks Ethiopia, which is not very likely, by the way, and Somalia starts uh, taking territories. It takes parts of Somali region of Ethiopia, and then maybe it makes a move towards Oromia. So do you think that Amharas will stand behind Somalia? You might see a big internal change in Ethiopia. You could see shifting of alliances. Even there are splits in Amharas. All Amharas don't support Fano struggle. There are prosperity party Amharas. There are Amharas living in other parts of Ethiopia, too, not just in Amhara region. So to say that all Amharas should support Somalia, uh, perhaps it means that people should support Somalia no matter what Somalia does. Maybe Somalia wants to, if Somalia wants to take back Somali region of Ethiopia, will Amhara support Somalia? If Somalis don't want to remove Ethiopian PM Abiy, if Somalia does not want to remove PM Abiy, but rather it wants to take back Somali region, what will all Amharas do in Ethiopia? Will they support Somalia? Now let me start viewers from Somaliland. Uh, Jay says Amharas are Ethiopians. We will never betray Ethiopia. Yes, Amharas are not Amhara nationalists, most Amharas. I'm not saying that every Amhara is not an Amhara nationalist. Amharas are Ethiopian nationalists. They wouldn't want Ethiopia to be dismembered and some parts coming under neighboring countries' control. Believe me, you'll see that. They are in support of a united Ethiopia, but they want government of their choice in Addis Ababa. That is what they want. They don't want to split from Oromia. They don't want Somali region to be under Somalia control. They don't want Tigray to be under Eritrean control. They want a united Ethiopia, but they want to change. Political change. They want change in Addis Ababa. They want to remove Ethiopian PM Abiy. Now, let me start, viewers. Somaliland, Ethiopia engagements. I said a few hours ago that either Ethiopian PM Abiy could visit Somaliland or a high level delegation could visit Somaliland. Why? Because Ethiopia wants to seal the deal with Somaliland. It does not want to waste any time because Somalia is threatening neighboring countries, other countries in the region could play a role as well. They could provoke Somalia. So Ethiopia does not want to waste any time. It is not uh, suspending this MOU. It wants to implement the MOU. Reportedly, Ethiopian military chief Berhanu Jula has arrived in Somaliland. 3 to 4 days ago, Somaliland's military chief was in Ethiopia. No, Ismail is his name, I think. Talks were held in Addis Ababa. After that, we saw movement of Ethiopian military on Ethiopia, Somali region, Ethiopia, Somaliland border. And secondly, we saw that some arrests were made in Burama in Odal zone of Somaliland, and Somaliland military was seen on the move in Odal zone. Now, Jula is in Hargeisa reportedly. It has not been made public, but it is being confirmed to us by people who are part of the government there in Somaliland. The official might be made public, but let's see. And after Jula, other top Ethiopian government officials could follow to visit Somaliland. So it means that Ethiopia does not want to waste any time. It wants the implementation of MOU. Why? Because it knows that there are people, there are groups which want to undermine the deal. They want to uh, upset this MOU. They're against the implementation of MOU. And the cooperation between the two sides is not just economic cooperation, it's military cooperation as well. And for this economic cooperation, the two will have to establish military cooperation too, because the way Somalia is threatening, obviously, Ethiopia will have to assure Somaliland that Somaliland is safe. That Ethiopian military will stand with Somaliland in case of any attack from Somalia or from Somalia-backed groups in Somaliland. And we could see some uprising, some tensions in eastern and western parts of Somaliland, in Odal zone, in SSC Khatomo controlled areas like Lassanud. We could see some uprising against Musibai Abdi's government. So Jula is there in Hargeisa assuring Somaliland that Somaliland and Ethiopia should implement the MOU. But before that, security situation must improve, especially in Odal zone. This visit is very strategic. Let's see how the visit ends up. Uh, Magnetism says Sajid is worried about new Amhara developments. What do you mean, magnetism? I am not worried about anything. I just report. I analyze things. Waterfall says there is Conquer the Stars has bought a super chat sticker for $2. Thank you, Conquer the Stars, for this contribution. Do you think Abi is in the hand of UAE? Uh, Abi says that Muhammad bin Zayed is his brother. I think they have very close family ties. Abi has met with Muhammad bin Zayed's mother as well. So the two have personal relations too, and the two have the same position on regional developments too. They have family relations as well. If you analyze Ethiopian and UAE's positions about what is happening in Sudan, you would see that both have almost the same position. Both are in Somaliland, Ethiopia new entry, UAE there for years. UAE not on very good terms with Eritrea these days. Same is the case with Ethiopia, though there are visible tensions between Ethiopia and Eritrea, no such tension between Eritrea and UAE. And UAE's support helped Ethiopia a lot in the war against Tigray. UAE supported Ethiopia when West boycotted Ethiopia. West refused to provide weapons to Ethiopia. West refused to provide aid to Ethiopia. UAE helped Ethiopia. So Abiy believes that UAE is his strategic partner. UAE is supporting Ethiopia because UAE wants to be a big player in this part of the world. It wants to have its presence around and in Red Sea countries. UAE is not a Red Sea country. It does not have a military base, I think, in any Red Sea country, but it had a base, I think, military base in uh, Eritrea. A sub was being used by UAE. Uh, and then I think Sokotra Island is being used by UAE close to Yemen as well. UAE backed group is in charge of that place. UAE has footprints across this region because UAE believe that this region is so strategic, it should have its presence in all these countries. And UAE is earning as well. It is building ports. It is acquiring lands on lease to produce crops for its people. Question is UAE's role that is that role of a spoiler, or is this role a constructive role? Well, I have not seen any constructive role played by the UAE so far, but when it comes to Somaliland, UAE has built Berbera port. Berbera port is now the center of attraction for regional countries, for international barbers. We built a port in Djibouti as well. It's building a port, I think, in Somalia too, if I'm not wrong. It built a port there too. So, Ethiopia Somaliland cooperation is not just economic cooperation, but it's military cooperation too. Who will visit uh, Somaliland after Birhanu Jula? Will Abiy visit Somaliland? What we have heard that he's planning to visit. If he visits Somaliland, it would be a big development. I don't think that any top Ethiopian leader has visited Somaliland so far. If he is committed to speedy implementation of MOU, he could visit Somaliland in coming days. Adam says, hello, Sajid, I just joined. Welcome, Adam. Mulki says, you and I agree on UAE's role as spoiler in the region. Jay says, Sajid, I have heard Abi is going next week to Somaliland. Yes, preparations are there reportedly in Hargeisa, but no one clearly knows. Liz says, what is the stance of Portland about the MOU? No position taken by Portland so far. Portland and Southwest State. These are two Somalia's regional states which have good ties with Ethiopia, and they have not said a word about the MOU. Some other states, well, they are silent. Southwest states regional security is being handled by Ethiopian forces. Puntland has also been uh, making claims for autonomy. It has been not on good terms with the federal government too, but Dini is back there, re-elected a few days ago. So far, Puntland has not taken any position. Puntland shares border with Somaliland. It can intervene in Lassanu. It did not intervene in Lassanu so far, I think. But its position is going to be strategic, I think, which it has not taken so far. Sansan says, do not blame it on the poor Abi. It is his handler from the Emirates. Well, Abi is not a kid, by the way. He is a leader of a country. So he will have to take the blame too. He's the leader. Thank you, S, for this contribution. Why do our forces not wear body armors and helmets? It's not expensive. Well, maybe it depends upon the type of battlefield, battlefield area which they are operating in. If they are fighting in an area where they need to wear body armor and helmet, yes, they should wear that. But if they want to ensure their swift mobility and they are moving in convoys, and the convoys are heavily protected in terms of air defense systems, etc. So maybe they can uh, move without these this protective gear too. So it depends upon where they are operating, I think. Yamlak says, what is the economic promise agreement between Ethiopia and Somaliland? I don't know because the MOU has not been made public, but obviously uh, there are benefits for both parties. Somaliland will have shares in Ethiopian Airlines, and it will have obviously uh, benefit from use of port as well, which Ethiopia will use. And Ethiopia has also made some calculations that it is paying billions of dollars to Djibouti, but if it has at least a 50 years in Somaliland, it will spend less on its import-export handling. Both sides have something to gain in this deal, I think, but we have not seen the complete MOU so far. No one has seen the complete MOU. Amiche Media Network says, welcome again, Mr. Sajid. Welcome, Amiche Media Network. Janel Tooth says, Sajid, whenever I asked a question, your viewers answer me, but they are biased. But they are reading your comments, they're reading your questions. Kedusan says, why do you think that drone strikes have decreased in the Amhara region? Yeah, very good observation from you, from Kedusan Ballet, that why is that drone strikes have decreased? Maybe drone strikes are not successful because it is difficult for military to get intelligence from the ground. Foreign fighters are gradually adjusting themselves to this new reality that they are now targets of drones. And secondly, extensive use of drones obviously leads to international pressure as well. because we saw that human rights organizations, international media were covering these drone strikes, and they were saying that civilians were dying in Amhara region. So government will continue use of drones too, but I think it lacks the intelligence network on the ground to make these drone strikes a challenge for Fano fighters, I think. A says, Sajid, are you working for Dajjal? Oh my God. Who is Dajjal? I think Muslims believe that Dajjal will come when end of the world is near. That is what some Muslims believe. Some Muslims, because I don't think Dajjal is mentioned in Quran. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe it's mentioned in the sayings of the Prophet, Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. But there are different interpretations about Dajjal. Who will he be? How will he look like? Where will he come from, etc.? It's a religious issue. Yabub Mangisha says MOU does not work without Somalia's goodwill. Let's see. So far, Ethiopia, Somaliland adamant that they'll make the MOU work without Somalia's goodwill. Empty says, any update on Damagazadu's removal from Volkai? Who told you that Damagazadu has been removed from Volkai? He's there. Afiti Zola says, Eritrea always thought that Ethiopia would be landlocked forever, and one day they hope they would cash that in. What is the meaning of cash that in? Ethiopia is here to exist. Eritrea is here to exist. It's a reality now. So keeping Ethiopia without a port forever is not a possibility. Ethiopia needs access to a port. Ethiopia should have access to a port through negotiation, through dialogue. Eritrea should have welcomed Ethiopia, but it should have made a public offer to Ethiopia to use its ports. Instead, I think it tried to form an alliance with other countries to isolate Ethiopia. PM Abiy then frustrated, started threatening Eritrea. So both sides handled the issue a little like mishandled the issue, I think. Buy another glove, someone says. No, I need this hole because it helps me type on my mobile. Yumaskan says, Sajid, in 2 weeks, I am going to Ethiopia. My morale is so high, I am joining Fano. Well, it's your decision. I would request you that stay safe wherever you are. Yamlak says on Google Map, it looks like Ethiopia has already built the two port in Odal region. What do you know about this? In just 2 weeks, Ethiopia has built two ports there. Do you have the links to these Google Maps where Ethiopia has built two ports? Do share with me, by the way, on SAJID 672 Yusuf says, Sajid, does Rwanda have access to a port? I think Rwanda is landlocked, but obviously it would be using some country's ports under some bilateral agreement. And maybe it's happy with the way it is using other countries' ports. Ethiopia was not happy with how Djibouti was treating Ethiopia. Now, our second news story is about the visit of Somalia's military chief. Somali military chief was at Turkish military base in Mogadishu. Turkey has a military base in Mogadishu. Top Somalia's government officials are in Turkey, and And Somalia's military chief, his name is Abraham, held a meeting at Turkish military base in Mogadishu. Turkey's role is very crucial. No one clearly knows what Turkey will do, but Somalia's government officials, military officials, they are in touch with Turkey's top officials. They want Turkey to take clear sides in this conflict. They know that if Turkey decided to support Somalia militarily, it would be a game changer. That is why efforts underway. Turkey does not want to lose its military presence in Somalia. It wants to stay here. Maybe that military presence guarantees some type of security for Somalia. So let's see how Turkey responds to requests from Somalia's officials. Thirdly, viewers, very important position taken by Ethiopia about China Taiwan issue. We have seen three statements in the past 2 days about China Taiwan issue. China claims that Taiwan is its part. Taiwan is not recognized by any country, by any international forum, and Chinese conduct naval drills, military maneuvers around Taiwan. Last year, China paralyzed Taiwan by laying siege to Taiwan. US backs Taiwan. US is sending and selling weapons to Taiwan. We've seen three statements in the past 3 weeks, in the past 2 to 3 days. Eritrea issued a statement announcing its support for one China policy. Somalia issued a statement supporting one China policy. Very understandable. Why? Because if Somalia recognizes Taiwan, it will lose its claim to Somaliland. Ethiopia today also made its position clear. Meles Alam is Ethiopian foreign ministry spokesperson, and today he said that Ethiopia has long been a supporter of one China policy. One China policy means that Ethiopia won't recognize Taiwan as a country, that Taiwan is part of China. Isn't it hypocrisy that Ethiopia supports a one China policy? It is against any engagement with Taiwan on bilateral basis. But here in the Horn of Africa, Ethiopia is violating one Somalia policy. It wants to recognize Somaliland as a country. It wants to establish a military base, naval base. It wants to lease land, coastal land in Somaliland without approval from Somalia. Isn't it double standards? Isn't it hypocrisy? And Tatio says, is Amhara based groups truly believe that MOU is a bad move by Abiy? Or is it just propaganda? And if they seize power in future, they would reverse the MOU? Well, I think that groups in Amhara are opposing the MOU because they want to remove the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. Whatever PM Abiy is doing, they are opposing it. It's not that they have held discussions and after extensive discussion, they have reached a conclusion that it's a bad strategic move. No. There are splits in Amhara, there are different players in Amhara. I think they want to oppose the moves of Ethiopian government, Ethiopian government. Their first target is Abiy. They want to remove Abiy. Maybe same is the case with Ola too. Ola shows solidarity with Somalia, not out of love for the people of Somalia, but out of their animosity towards Abiy. Both groups are taking a pro-Somalia position because they want to remove the Prime Minister of Ethiopia. They want to prove that Ethiopian PM is incompetent and he is working to destabilize the country. He should be removed. Maybe, maybe if Fano and Ola came to power, they'll do what Abiy is doing now. They'll strike similar deals too. Because when you are in government, then your thinking changes, I think. And these opposition groups, they are hell bent on removing Abiy, no matter what happens. Janel Truth is asking question about TPLF. Sajid, how do you see TPLF's isolation politics? They wouldn't like to support anyone, or they become just no more effective entity. Yeah, very interesting question. Where is TPLF in all this mess which we are seeing in the region? Nowhere to be seen. Getachew and the Batson were seen together today, and she did a video on that. I think there are so many problems in Tigray that Tigray wants to handle the problems. And secondly, what will Tigray gain from taking positions? If Tigray takes a pro-Abiy position, what will be the benefit for Tigray for this move? Or if it takes a pro-Somalia position, what will Tigray get? I think Tigray does not want to take any anti-PM Abiy position because it will lead to more tension between federal government and regional government. That is why it is silent. It is hoping that Abiy would help Tigray retake the western zone, Marabolka, the southern zone as well. It is hoping that Abiy would facilitate the return of IDPs, that Abiy would release all the funds. That is why it's not taking any position against the federal government, I think. So it wants to remain silent. Perhaps right now, best policy is that Tigray should remain silent, focus on internal issues. Elam says, how is Tigray? Vedi Ofla is talking to enter your name. Fano and EDF do not have the courage to face anyone alone. Lastly, viewers, let me end this live chat with the last news story, which is from Sudan. Burhan has boycotted IGAD summit, which is going to be held on the 18th of January in Kampala, Uganda. Agenda mainly about Sudan and Ethiopia, Somaliland MOU. Hamati agreed to attend the meeting. Burhan is not going to attend the meeting. It's IGAD heads of state meeting. Burhan is boycotting the IGAD summit because Burhan does not want Hamati to be taken on equal footing by IGAD member countries. Hamati has been warmly welcomed in some IGAD member countries in the past few days. Wherever he went, he was received like as if he was head of state. Burhan, isolated, losing on military side as well, is disgruntled. And that is why he will boycott the IGAD summit. Let's see what happens after 2 days. Secondly, RSF has shot down an Iranian drone in Khartoum. The drone was being used by Sudanese military. Sudanese military is in possession of Iranian drone. It's not new. They have been buying Iranian Mohajer 6 drones. The Iranian drones are not very effective in the battlefield. We saw that in Tigray too, that I think Ethiopian government introduced Mohajer 6, but it did not deliver. Then Ethiopian government bought Winglongs and TB2s, which were game changers. So the Mohajer 6 Iranian drone of Sudan military was shot down by RSF over Khartoum by just a man-pad, man-portable air defense system, which you put on your shoulder and fire. This man-pad was used to shoot down the Iranian Mohajer 6 drone over Khartoum. The news about uh, Burhan's visit of Iran has not been confirmed so far. Sudanese sources, news sources, several reported that Burhan was on his way to Tehran, but it seems it was inaccurate. So far, no details. It seems Burhan did not visit Tehran, but Burhan is using Iranian drones. Lastly, was just a few words about Ethiopian troops making some defensive preparations on Somalia border today. A top Somalia's news channel claimed that according to locals in Gado, Jubaland, near Dolo town, Ethiopian troops are digging trenches. They are making defensive preparations near their camps. Hirsi, Fao, you missed a lot. You'll have to watch the entire live chat again. Uh, why are Ethiopian troops digging trenches near Dolo? Dolo is on Somalia-Ethiopia border. There could be three scenarios which I discussed in the last video, that either Ethiopian troops are going to be told to leave Somalia. So now they are deep into Somalia. They're not just in border areas. Maybe they'll be told to go to their country. If they're told to retreat, then they'll beef up their defense positions on border near Dolo. So they're making preparations. Or Ethiopian troops are expecting that there could be attack on their positions from Somalia, either by Al-Shabaab or pro-Somalia elements, pro-Somalia regional federal forces. So that is why they're making preparations. They are digging trenches. Locals are confirming. Med Mahdi says Somaliland has the authority to sign agreements with any authority as it wishes and does not require notice or acceptance from any else. Thank you for passing this verdict, Med Mahdi, but that is not what Somalia believes. Tora Mana says channel should not allow such live chat. Why? What's the problem with this live chat? Let people speak. People should be civilized in the expression of their views. Let them speak. Don't be hateful. I like the way people are interacting, talking to each other, sharing their views. Sometimes expression is provocative, hateful too, which I always condemn. But let people exchange views during live chats. Nothing wrong with that. Hirsi says Somaliland is desperate after losing Sool. They want Abiy to help them recapture Sool, but they aren't gonna happen. That ain't gonna happen. Maybe they don't want to lose more. I think. I don't think that Abiy would try to involve in Sool in support of Somaliland military, but maybe Somaliland does not want to lose more territory to some unionist elements. And now Ethiopia is in the picture. I don't see Ethiopian direct involvement, military involvement in support of Somaliland forces in eastern part of Somaliland. Viewers, 55 minutes have passed. I think we should end this live chat session. Yamasgan, I'm all prayers for you, for your safety. So I hope that you stay away from this conflict. You are based abroad, I think, not in Ethiopia. But your wish to join Fano is alarming, by the way. Thank you for joining, viewers. See you tomorrow in the next live chat session. We are trying to cover the internal developments in Ethiopia, regional developments between Ethiopia and Eritrea, Ethiopia and Somalia, Ethiopia and Somaliland, Coming days are going to be very busy, very eventful for peace and stability in the Horn of Africa. We'll have to monitor what is happening on Ethiopia, Somaliland, and Ethiopia, Somalia border. Thank you for joining. See you tomorrow in the next live chat session. Stay blessed. Bye bye.